It's like my family away from family, technically.
Oh, I didn't even realize this. We also got a new Armory deck announcement.
Oh my god, is it a Necromancer? Before I even look.
Yeah,
Oh, how
Gravy
did I know?
Bones is getting his own Armory deck. Holy
I
shit!
knew it. We called that. We freaking nailed it, man. We got so much right without getting it right.
Holy shit!
Okay, so hold on. Let's. I gotta mute myself on Discord too, so that they're not hearing. There, I'm gonna. My other call that apparently is still.
What the hell does that even mean? Hold on.
Oh my god, does this mean that the
Armory
world...
decks are a series of ready-to-play decks. Yada yada. New designs. Oh, Armory deck Gravy Bones is also compatible with Blitz. Simply take out all the cards with a CC label.
See, I knew they would do something like this. This is so... I literally called something like... Because there's no sense in releasing standalone Blitz decks if you can take a CC and remove one of each copy of something. This is great. This is excellent. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Wow.
So,
holy shit.
Okay.
Marketing assets? Give me the shit. Where is everything?
So
Product sheet?
I need to pull up things. So
Product sheet.
That's FabGG. I need to go fabtcg.com, right? Okay, so I'm gonna make sure I got the mic going. I got the audio. I can see the audio bands over there. So I guess just confirm if you want to talk for 2 seconds. I want to make sure it's happy.
I'm confirming because I'm talking about high C's. That's what we're doing. We're talking about high C.
The RCs.
The high C's.
All right, so that's recording. So I think I am just going to lay right into this as I make my computer scream because I believe that I have like too many things going on.
What the fuck is that? Yo.
This is a brand new article.
This whole product thing. Oh my god. You just gotta open up the I mean literally it dropped maybe.
But it says May 21st. So okay. All right.
What, like 10 minutes ago?
Greetings.
May 21st. May 21st is New Zealand.
Ladies and gentlemen, okay. First and foremost, I have to start this video off with a very interesting disclaimer. So today we have Alex with us on this side of the video. Hi. Over here. Hi, Alex. Thanks for joining us again. I am super excited to be talking today. I am none other than Jacob with Geeks First, but I do want to point out something that I kind of I don't want to say I jumped the gun on, but like I have a little pedestal I got to stand on, or a soapbox for just a second. I originally, when this came out, I had a kind of maybe a little bit of a disagreement with how the I guess Purple Discord server classifies a leak versus a non-leak, and I missed some of that conversation. But some of the things we'll be talking about today came out because of a result of a web page being published, apparently too early, it seems. And then literally, it's 9:07 p.m. on Thursday. As of like 7 minutes ago, they dropped the High Seas article. It's still loading on my computer to the left. Now, Alex is already perusing this like a madman.
I'm in it. I'm in this thing.
I have way too many things happening. But the reason I wanted to say this is because I jokingly said that it took away some of the magic by having that released. So I deleted my Twitter post that had probably the largest Twitter following and reshare thing I'd ever had in my life. So shame on me, I guess, for doing that. But I also felt like it was the right thing to do because at the time, none of this stuff was like pretty much, I would say it was out there, but I felt like it was almost like a leak thing because I thought they were going to do like a hero reveal. I haven't even seen this article yet, but like my thought was they were going to do like a Pro Tour thing where they had the hero reveals and all sorts of stuff. Maybe that's not the way they were going to do it this time. So either way,
I don't know. I'd imagine in fact it was the way they were planning on doing it, and I think this is I think this is a response to that. A quick
stopgap to this, so or something.
Yeah.
I mean, frankly, I'm just pulling this up for the first time over here. I'm looking at it, right? And looking at just some of this stuff here, there's a product sheet. I mean, obviously I can see now I can say his name Gravy Bones, right? Because
Gravy Bones. By the way, I knew stupidest name.
Somebody was going to give me so much crap because I deleted the post. I made this little like follow-up post that was like, hey, I don't like sharing or talking about leaks. Like that's kind of not my thing. And then like I was going to feel really bad if this came out on like Tuesday or on Monday of next week. and then like didn't have any information because I was like, then technically it is kind of like talking about a leak, but now it's all fair game, baby. Like we're here, we're down for the ride, we're doing it. So I'm gonna shut up now and let you talk because
I think it was certainly enough. It was enough to at least, you know, it's difficult when an oopsie happens, and when an oopsie happens, obviously things need to be put into effect. And let's be honest, the internet is just like a place where oopsies happen. And I think it's unfortunate because I know a lot of this, I'm sure, was due to be talked about during Pro Tour, or at least like a calling. They were going to like ease out some other stuff here or something. But this is kind of like how it's probably the first time that we've learned about new heroes in Flesh and Blood and new mechanics and everything, new classes, new talents, all without it being a keynote speech. It kind of all came out all at once. I think it's obviously like there's not a lot of like flair, but it is nice that we at least got a lot of information. I mean, a lot of stuff just dropped in this article, and this is a lot. I mean, we get to see there's you're gonna hate this. There's 3 different kinds of booster boxes.
really
with
wait, so
yeah,
they pulled a Magic the Gathering kind of a thing.
No. They're all the same in that sense, but for instance, let's see,
Is it
the English
is different?
Yeah, the artwork is different. So like one of the boxes is Gravy Bones, the other box.
I see there's a Gravy Bones box here. Yep. Oh, is that on the product sheet is what you're looking at to get that?
Yep. Yeah, on the product sheet. Yeah, 3 stunning display variants. So you can have a booster box that comes with Marlin, one that comes with Puffin, and the other one that comes with Gravy Bones. So obviously
that
there's
means now for a set collector like myself, I now have to get 3 sealed
if you
boxes.
Collect displays.
Yeah.
Or you can wait until people you can get 3 sealed boxes, or you can just get the boxes empty and then get like the individual packs or something. But
sure.
Yeah, a lot of stuff here. They announced, I don't know what you want to talk about first, but like they came out with quite a bit of new cards that are going to be released in the set. We now know all 3 heroes and their classes, talents, and hero powers. We know what else do we know? We know some of the Majestics. We know what some of the new keywords are, what the new tokens are that are being created.
I mean, look,
we know a lot.
I said I was going to want to keep this to like an hour, but like, frankly, I don't care anymore. Like at this point, if you want to go for a little bit longer, I'm all for it because this is basically kind of the dump that I was hoping would happen. And really we're here. It just, I think let's start with this. So, you know, about Thursday, maybe it was Tuesday. It was like 2 days ago or something. It was maybe 2 days ago is when that accidental web page got posted. And that's when we first noticed that, baby, we got 3 classes. Let's start with the basics. We now know the 3 classes are Mechanologist. Welcome back, Mech. Love it. We got Ranger. That was a speculative thing that people talked about.
Yep.
And we got the new Necromancer. Now, interestingly enough, I think in the last time we talked, we discussed that talents were critical to fleshing out hero pools. And Mistvale used a single talent, Mystic, across the whole thing. And it looks like Pirate is the talent now. So we, instead of Pirate being a class, Pirate's a talent. And it appears that they are taking that and supercharging it, which is insane to me. I guess that's nice. I mean, I'm excited. So
yeah, it's I mean, like, don't get me, I think it's a very, very cool way. All of these heroes seem very intricate in how they're played. And in their hero powers. I think there's also just, I mean, really I think there's something that needs to be said. I don't know if you plan to post up a picture of any of the cards or the heroes in here, but there is a specific symbol that is on these cards that is indicative of another TCG that we would not normally have thought to see. It is something that has been done in Flesh and Blood previously, just by like aesthetic. But the tap symbol is in Flesh and Blood now.
Yeah, and I think
So
that's a beautiful thing. It simplifies it a lot. Like I I'm not saying that face it, with any card game, there's only so many ways to reinvent the wheel, so to speak. And, a a mechanic, a tapping mechanic, a putting a card in a orientation, having a
mhm.
shorthand symbol for that means that you can have more interesting or complex things on a card and be able to accomplish more, and it looks prettier, is my opinion.
Yeah, I think I don't exactly have an issue with it being tap if it's tap, right? I think obviously nothing has been absolutely confirmed, but from what we can tell, whenever you look at the keyword text on the Flesh and Blood card database, it is a it's got the I can't remember, not the tilde, but the not brackets, but the wiggly brackets that have a T in the middle, and that normally represents the action or the resource that is utilized to activate this ability, the thing that needs to be the cost effectively. And so um, T normally would be for tap. If it were something like, there's like our whole Colorado Discord is making a joke that it could be transform, but it's not, because we already have a transform thing.
Sure.
Um, but I think the weird thing here is that, like, is this going to be eroded into other previous heroes as well? Because if this is a way for the future of Flesh and Blood to notate on camera, you are activating your hero ability,
Whoa,
then
whoa! I just read something in the
what'd you
product
rate?
description.
Uh huh.
Remember how this was a feels bad for some people? How not everybody was able to get a gold pack?
Yeah.
According to
You
this,
you
it's a subset within the set. It's like a Pokemon subset, or like a I don't know. There's other
yep.
games that have done stuff like this.
It's called pirate booty.
But look at this. Lost treasure appears 1 in 1,000 treasure packs, but there's one treasure pack per display. So I was like, man, how am I going to get one for my sealed pack collection? Well, now it's going to be
Mm-hmm.
super simple. I can easily get
Yep.
one. But there's
Yeah.
also
90 card set. There's a subset in there of 90 cards, 11 marvels, 4 legendaries, 52 pirate booty cards, 14 commons, and 9 puzzle pieces. So there is a
there's a hero.
a hero to puzzle piece, if not 2 technically, if they double side them. And then of course, yeah, 1 treasure pack per display. That is an asterisk, because it says they contain 1 treasure pack. They are not available for individual sale. And then 3 cards in each pack. You get a gold slot, a map slot, and a treasure slot, which is in the middle, protected by the gold and map slot. So it's gem pack. It's gem pack that's available in the set effectively. So that's kind of cool. And the treasure slot contains a gold foil or a lost treasure. So
I agree. I mean, it's freaking pretty. It really
yeah.
is. I mean, there's so much to unpack here. Where do we even begin? How do we begin? Like,
okay, let's just talk about the classes and the heroes first, because that's
Okay.
obviously going to be the thing that we talk about first. So,
where do you want to start? Which one? What's your favorite?
Mechanologist.
Mech. All
Let's
right,
just play
baby.
Mech.
We're
Right,
on
so-
we're on Mech. We have Mechanologist back, right? We have
Yep.
Dash. We got Data Doll. We got Dash IE. We got Dash IO. We got Teklo. We got Max, and now we got Puffin Hightail. Now I'm
Yep.
still not sold on all these names, but the artwork. Okay, I can get behind this artwork. Like this is straight up. I'd mentioned steampunk more times than I care to admit. This is like straight steampunk injected right into my veins. Like, just
Yeah.
I am
very Final Fantasy airship stuff. Like,
Yeah.
it is a very, very cool concept. Pirate mechanologist, the first talented mechanologist.
That is
By the way,
a huge thing, by the way. I have waited for the day for a talented mech.
Now, and those of you in the comments can tell me that technically Teklevosen's Mecropotent is a shadow mechanologist. This is the first whole class talent connection between a mechanologist and a full talent. And even to go as far as to showcase pirate mechanologist cards. So Puffin, pretty cool. Obviously, you add action speed. They've got 4 intellect, 40 life, pretty standard. But at action speed, you can, what we assume to be, tap the hero to destroy a gold you control. We already know what gold is. And you can create a golden cog token.
And I think
then
this might be the key, by the way, for Max. I think that's what's going to go under the wrench or the hyperdrivers, maybe.
Well, you wouldn't be able to make that if you weren't a pirate, probably.
So you think it's going to be a separate thing for Max?
I don't think Max is going to utilize golden cog tokens.
Okay.
He might. I don't know. I mean, obviously, there's probably something implemented, but I think the concept behind the keyword here being gold is going to be tied very closely to the pirate talent and not so much just something that's going to be accepted, right? Obviously, when we take a look at something like again, I don't know if you're going to have this up or anything whenever you're editing this, but Sky Skimmer is a new card that is announced for the set, and Sky Skimmer essentially just says a 0 cost, 4, 3, and 2 attack respectively with a 3 block. It says once per turn instant, you can tap a cog you control, and then it gets +1 or go again. So we already aren't seeing boost happening in Pirate Mechanologist. And then also on top of it, it's specifically looking for a cog you can control. Now, this is just a mechanologist attack, so it is probably able to be utilized in other mechanologists, but there are no other cogs. And so unless there are mechanologist actions that allow you to create a golden cog to utilize, I'm not entirely too sure that Max cares about it.
Leverage that,
yeah. I think he could. Obviously, it's a golden cog. For those of you who haven't seen it yet, it's literally just says it's a cog item. It says crank, comes in with 1 steam counter, and at the start of your turn, you destroy it unless you remove a steam counter. There's no effect for this outside of the fact that it is labeled as a cog, and some of the new mechanologist cards care about whether or not you have a cog, and so that is pretty much it. You're out here cranking your cog. That is now effectively the concept. So mechanology. Also, not to mention what I personally am going to believe to be a big freaking deal for new mechanologist. Puffin's second ability states that the second time you crank each turn, you draw a card.
Yeah,
which is
that's huge.
Kind of crazy because
they just got rid of all the books.
Yeah, there's not a lot of cards that do a lot of card advantage things, and being able to just quite literally make these golden cogs, crank them, and then draw a card, be able to utilize your cogs and tap them to effectively power your mechanologist attacks. I feel like this is a way for mechanologists to move away from boost, and I think that's going to be pretty cool to see from a new mechanologist perspective.
Always exciting. I'm never a fan of. I'm never not a fan of not having options. I'd rather have build choices. And you're right. That Sky Skimmer just reminds me almost. I'd go so far back as to saying like World of Warcraft, like 1 or 2, like one of the little guys that would fly around in an ornithopter,
right?
Almost like an ornithopter style thing.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. I'm glad that obviously me as a mech fan, I just exploded into joy when I saw that this was here. And looking at I'm trying to understand that gold token they show there. It has a gold symbol in the bottom corner. Does that mean that that's like a token, you think, or rarity?
So the golden cog. So the golden cog is
not the golden cog. The gold itself on the 4th image over on that same mech line. The treasure chest that looks like it's a marvel, but it has it's a gold.
Oh yeah. Those. So I think those are treasure pack.
Okay.
That gold circle looks like, at least according to the card database, whenever you select on that gold token, if you look to the right, there's a section where it shows all the different versions of gold. One of them says High Seas Treasure Pack. Yeah. So the treasure packs are effectively just like the Marvels.
And
They're the
that's
prettier
one in
versions of these.
10,000 thing?
No, the treasure packs are those ones that you can get one. You get
Lost
one
treasure.
one pack per box.
It says
guaranteed.
lost treasure appears 1 in 1,000 treasure packs.
Yeah, so lost treasure is different than just like the treasure pack. The treasure pack itself there is one treasure pack in every display.
Yep.
But it could be like bunko gem pack stuff, right? It could just be like a gold token, small little things, and then maybe like a cold foil or a full art of something. But that 1 in every 10,000 thing for them, for these is a lost treasure, right? 17 unique lost treasures, only one of each exists in treasure packs, which means that there are 17 treasures and there are only 17, which means that if you have to open up 1,000 treasure packs in order to get one of these things, there's only ever one. So it's like a super marvel of a
like
treasure
the
or whatever.
art cards within Dust Till Dawn. Or not the art cards, but the sketch cards.
Yeah, effectively. Probably even because you got to imagine if it's 1 in every 1,000 treasure packs, if you put on average 1,000 treasure packs, it means you have to open 1,000 boxes for your chance to possibly get one. And yeah, that's a lot. So and with their own being only 17, that means that theoretically, well, I guess like if that were to be the case, right? There's no way that's right.
What?
1 in every 10,000 treasure packs. There's only 17 unique lost treasures. Only one of each exist in treasure packs.
Are you trying to figure out the mathematics on how much the print run would be? Because that would be really scary.
because I'm sitting here and I'm just like, if there's 1,000, if it takes 1,000 packs for one of these to appear, and there's 17, and they're not reprinting more of them, obviously, that would mean there's like 20,000 boxes. Which just doesn't make it. There's no way. That doesn't make any sense.
That makes zero sense.
But anyway, I mean, obviously that's just because these are just the ratios. It's not guaranteed that when you open up your 1,000th treasure pack, you're going to get one of these things. But it is nice to know that there's more chase, right? Obviously, in a set with pirates, it is really, really nice to know that there is a lot of chase for opening up this product and getting it like super hyped up. I know I'm probably going to buy a case. I plan to draft this stuff. Like it's going to be a super, super cool thing. So very, very excited about it.
So that covers kind of mech.
Yeah. Yep. Let's talk about Ranger next. Cool. Right. Let's just save the last thing. Right. So
is it Maryland Treasure Hunter?
It's Marlin, like the fish.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, at least from what I can tell. So yeah, Marlin Treasure Hunter. Pirate Ranger. So also we have Talented Ranger back in the mix.
Swoosh icon.
Yep.
If you don't know what it does.
Little swoosh.
Destroy a gold you control. Create a gold fin harpoon in your hand. Now, I'm going to pause.
Yep.
There were leaks, for those of you people that do not know, that revealed certain cards. One of them was a gold fin harpoon. But I don't think it was the same thing, was it? Or was the card? So
I think it's
harpoon?
I think it's a different thing. I think it's a different harpoon. I think it has harpoon in its name because this is going to matter. Okay. And the reason being is because Goldfin Harpoon, the thing that Marlin creates effectively is a 0-cost yellow card that's got 2 attack, no defense. It's an arrow attack that just says if this would be put into a graveyard, instead remove it from the game.
But so cool things about that too. It's a yellow, but it literally says this card is yellow, which is interesting. And it does say it can't be pitched. So I'm assuming there's a reason.
And I would imagine the reason being is because there are probably going to be pirate cards that care about the color yellow, or I would guess. But you also have things like Prismatic Leyline, which is a card that came out in freaking Rosetta that said that, like, you know, your next red card gets +2, yellow gets +3, red gets +4. So technically, you could theoretically, if you're trying to shoot 3 arrows, which sounds like is going to be the case here because Marlin's second ability states that whenever you draw a card during your action phase, which again just makes me think that gold being able to draw you a card, or just like pirate cards probably caring about drawing a card or something of the sort. Whenever you draw a card during your action phase, you may put an arrow from your hand face up into your arsenal. And therefore, that makes me believe that Marlin is going to be running New Horizons, which allows you to have 2 arsenal zones. So long as one card is face up in your arsenal zone, you can have 2. And so, in the specific scenario, you can play things like 3 of a kind. You'll draw 3 cards, create 2 Goldfin harpoons, or well, you'll draw 3 cards and you'll be able to put 2 arrows into your arsenal and then fire them off, right? Which is pretty cool to see significantly. But something I also wanted to bring up were the 2 other cards. I mean, really just the one other card, the Majestic that was announced, the King Shark Harpoon.
And that's
I don't know if you've
still in the same thing, and it has, I mean, the artwork too.
Yeah.
There's some super cool, like back to that gold
artwork,
harpoon.
crazy, very Monster Hunter-esque. Oh, are you looking? Yeah, you're looking at the Goldfin.
Oh yeah, there's a Kraken on it, and I have a thing for like Kraken.
Yeah,
it's great. So
yep,
go
yep.
ahead. Sorry,
The Goldfin Harpoon
Shark.
looks really, really good. I mean, yeah,
King
King Shark Harpoon. Yeah, so again, we have Harpoon being named again. This is important because actually, I guess if we do look at the big game trophy shot card that's released, it does care whether or not you have Harpoon in the name of your arrow. And so that is kind of cool to see that it's you're going to be looking with like shooting arrows, but named Harpoon instead of just like arrows in general. But the King Shark Harpoon introduces another thing that Ranger's going to get to do, and I still don't know how this is going to happen, but they have an ability called Go Fish. When this hits a hero, they choose and reveal a card from their hand. And then if it's an attack action card, they discard it and you create a gold token. This is much like Provoke from the Hunted for Warrior. But the second part of this text is kind of crazy because it says if you've activated a cannon this turn, instead look at their hand and you choose the card.
A cannon.
We don't know what a cannon is. We don't know what a cannon
I'm gonna take a big cannon.
is. But if this is pirate ranger allies that you get to make that get to shoot cannons at your opponent's things, that's going to be kind of sick to be able to do that, because then you're going to be able to just go, okay, cool, set myself up with a whole bunch of cannons and fire them off, and maybe the cannons will have like a low amount of HP or something. Maybe they will be allies for rangers to use. There haven't been a lot of like, outside of Lexi utilizing it, there's not a lot of like go wide opportunity for ranger most times. And so having that happen is going to be kind of cool, especially since not only that, King Shark Harpoon has CNC stats. So it costs 2, attacks for 6, comes in for 3. So rangers now have, Pirate Ranger specifically has a popper for illusionists. Big game trophy shots gives plus 4 to your next arrow attack if it's a harpoon. It gets when it hits, create a gold token, and then you draw a discard. And it blocks 3. Crazy stuff. There's a lot happening with Ranger. But again, it seems like it's very gold oriented. So we're going to see whether or not gold generation is going to be pretty huge in Pirate, just to be able to create those Goldfin harpoons so you can start shooting more of these in there. Because a Goldfin harpoon only comes in for 2 damage. That just makes me think that you're looking at more of a go wide ranger than you are a go tall ranger. Just simply because they're not presenting it. They cost 0. They come in for 2, and they don't block. Effectively, it's just you always get in a ranger or an arrow in your hand. So pretty cool.
Interesting. I mean, yeah, there's definitely enough, like you said, the Go Fish piece makes me wonder if there are going to be other unique abilities per class that we're just not sure just yet what they're doing. So I guess we can go to the next one, which is the crazy big bad thing in the room.
The one thing I genuinely was not expecting was for them to introduce Necromancer.
Yeah.
And so Necromancer has been announced.
Absolute metric ton just in the world of Necromancer that may become my second class, even though I've been playing Katsu a lot lately. That's what I've been bringing to Armory and learning and playing a lot of that. But
Yeah.
yeah, so let's talk
It
about.
looks. Let's talk about the stupidest name in Flesh and Blood history. Gravy Bones. I get it. It's Davy Jones, but funny, right? But not for me. I wish he was named literally anything else. But I'll get used to it. I'm sure the more I play it, because if I enjoy the class enough, I'll certainly go about playing it. There's a lot of stuff that was announced for, Necromancer so far, such as a few additional promos, as well as our first look at 2 of the allies that Necromancer gets to use. So we are aware now, and I'll go over Gravy Bones' ability because it is as we expected, that Gravy Bones will be utilizing cards from his graveyard and then summoning them to the arena to attack your opponent. So Gravy Bones' ability, he's 4 intellect, 40 health. At instant speed, you can do that little tap thing, and you can destroy a gold you control, draw a card, and then discard a card. So you get to draw, discard, but that's important because if a blue card has been put into your graveyard this turn, whether it be from your hand or your deck, wherever it might be, you may play cards with Watery Grave from your graveyard. So Watery Grave is a new keyword. It itself has its own mechanic, but we can kind of look over what a Watery Grave card does, because there is the very first ally that we see is Chum Friendly First Mate, which is one of the new allies. It costs 4 resources to play them. They attack for 4 and they have 6 life. So it's a pretty hefty body for that being the case.
It's not a 1/1. I thought these would be like 1/1s or 1/2s or like one.
Not only
attack,
is it
2 health.
Yeah, not only is it not a 1/1, but there's another one just announced that I think is going to be in the. Well, I guess like we can talk about that. There's an Armory deck for Gravy Bones being released in the same vein. So Necromancer is there.
About the Armory deck too.
The Armory deck. We'll get to the Armory deck, but what Watery Grave is it's not like Stealth where it's just a word. Watery Grave is the target for, again, if you have played. If you have a blue card has gone to your graveyard, you can then play these Watery Grave cards from your grave. But more importantly, Watery Grave has a reminder text next to it that says, when this is put into your graveyard from the arena, turn it face down. This means that your allies have a one-time shot to being on the board, and then they get turned face down, much like how like cards in Levia can't be used if they're turned face down. Same deal in their banish zone. So if they get destroyed, they go to the graveyard still, but they get turned face down, so they are no longer able to be utilized in that same vein. But it seems that right now, they're all going to be different ally things. Chum has an ability that you can tap it to attack, so you can just swing. No go again. But also at instant speed, you can tap it to discard a card with Watery Grave, and then until the end of your turn, opponents must choose this as the target of attacks if able. So it's like ALS. It's like Arclight Sentinel, but for Necromancers. And that's pretty cool considering it's got 6 life. And I mean, if you're going against Ninja, you can just be like, cool, okay, play it, tap it.
Kadachi,
we're good to go.
Like it's would that be for everything until
it dies, effectively? Yeah. I mean, like, and if it doesn't die, right? Like, for instance, what you can do is you can even wait until your opponent's trying to come in. And most ninjas, what they'll do, as I'm sure you know, is they'll come in with like smaller attacks in the beginning and they come in one big attack at the end. And so if you know your opponent's going to come in with a large attack right before they come in with that attack, and you're resolving the chain beforehand, you can at instant speed activate Chum and then have that big attack, that like Salt the Wound or whatever that you fished for with Mask of the Pouncing Lynx. Now you can just have that Salt the Wound come and attack Chum. And now it's like, oh, okay, cool. I was going to deal like lethal damage to my opponent, but now I can't because it just cuts it off.
It kind of it's almost a weird way to play with your ability to have different hit point levels without actually changing the printed 40 on the card, because
Yep.
you know, it gives you a little bit more.
Yeah. And more importantly, I mean, when you take a look at some of the other cards, we also found out that there's a new offhand for Pirate Necromancer. I should say new, it's all new. But an instant speed, you can tap it.
Is this in the sales document, by the way?
No, this is in the, hold on. This is in
the article. There are way too many random things. That's why I'm wanting to confirm.
There's this for you. But Compass of Sunken Depths is a instant speed card that's in your offhand. You can tap it to look at the top card of your deck. So you're playing Dio now. Pretty cool. The first card with Watery Grave you play from your graveyard each turn gets go again. That's just a static ability, which means that you can play your Watery Grave allies from your graveyard and immediately attack with them or utilize their abilities, depending on what it might be. So that's pretty freaking cool. We also have Chart the High Seas. This is weird because it kind of it's like in a strange way it ruins the vibe and actually thought that Gravy Bones is going to have, because you look at the top. It's a Pirate Necromancer action that blocks 3 and it's a blue. It says you can look at the top 2 cards of your deck. You may pitch a blue card from among them and then put the rest into your graveyard. So mind you, you just get to pitch from the top of your deck. Kind of ridiculous. So you have 3 float immediately after playing this. And then you create a gold token for each yellow card put into your graveyard this way. So if one of those cards is a blue and the other card is a yellow, you can pitch the blue and then discard the yellow, get a gold token to be able to utilize Gravy Bones' ability to draw and then discard, get more cards into your more of your allies into your graveyard, so that way you can summon them, and then attack with them as well. It's pretty insane.
It's a lot of synergy too, is what it looks like.
Yeah, it very much so. Like draw, discard, fill up your graveyard, bring those things back from the grave, recur them probably back into your deck. I am going to assume. I'm wondering actually. No, that wouldn't work. But yeah, like there's more things there too. Board the Ship is a rare that is pretty strong. Whenever this attacks, you can tap an ally you control to give the attack overpower. Paddle Faster allows you to tap an ally you control to give it go again. And Hoist Them Up allows you to tap an ally you control to give it another +1 in its block value to have it block 5 instead of 4. So effectively, the concept is going to be your allies are not just meant for attacking. They're also meant to interact with the other cards that you have in your deck to be able to provide more synergy overall.
I mean, it's just insane. Do you want to touch on the part of this article that goes into the deck? I know there's other things we can talk about, but I want to talk about just real quickly the Necromancer deck, because it's now they're doing something that I was hoping they would eventually get to, which is they're making it both a dual deck. They're making it basically what I typically try to do with my decks, which is just pull out the cards to make it a Blitz or a CC deck. So that's awesome. I think that tells me quite a bit. Like that's a good direction, I think. Maybe they might get rid of Blitz decks altogether and go straight Armory, where the Armory acts as both a Blitz deck. I think that actually may be a very great business decision. Less products on the shelf.
It's certainly good in regard to finding that out, because we do see, I think, if I recall correctly, because I have not seen anything in the product information, that there's not going to be a Blitz collection set.
No, I don't see anything mentioning Blitz, which is why I'm curious. So,
but I think that's also so, like, from somebody who plays a lot of like young hero formats along with yourself, the reason why I think that's good is because it gets you a playable deck in both formats. But a deck made for Classic Constructed does not often pilot the same as if it were in Blitz. And that's just because you have half the amount of life that you would in CC,
Sure.
and some cards hold much more weight in a Blitz format than they do in CC. But regardless, if this is one set that you can get and you can simply just go, okay, cool, I want to go play in a Blitz event with my friends, or I want to play a quick game with Gravy Bones as opposed to a longer game with Gravy Bones because my friends only have Blitz decks, then this is a great opportunity to be able to do that, to just take out cards. Effectively, what they're doing is it's compatible with Blitz. The Armory deck is compatible with Blitz. There will be cards inside this deck that are labeled with a CC, like 2Cs. And those cards you just need to take out of your deck, and then your deck is legal for Blitz.
Could you imagine having a Majestic now that is a staple that in somewhere on the card has CC on it? That'd be really kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think it's a very interesting way to go about doing it. More intuitive overall. Obviously, like, taking cards out of a deck is significantly easier than having to make an entirely separate product. Obviously, this means that we're probably either going to see the rest of the Armory decks as they release get this exact same treatment, or they might just be doing something like this directly for a new class. But it is kind of cool to see that we're getting a new class in the main set, and then also immediate support for that class in an Armory deck.
Oh, power flicker. We're still here. Yes, that's good. But yeah, no, I think the other thing to also mention here is that was one of the, I guess, ideas we threw around, right? Is if you released a Armory deck that had the class plus something in the set, it would be able to flush out that card pool a lot better. And you're not going to have that assassin situation that happened in Dynasty until you had Outsiders, which really flushed it out. So I'm ecstatic. I think all this stuff is just spot on. Like, I'm not seeing any issues with this so far. It's super hype. Now, I am going to say one thing, and this is kind of negative, so forgive me, but right now it is unobtainium to get a hold of the Hunted, the set, like around here at all. It's just impossible. They mentioned that they understood that there was some weirdness with that, and they're supposedly releasing additional waves. They said that when this set comes out, there should not be any allocation problems, or at least no, hopefully not, right? I genuinely hope that is the case, because there is too much hype here for that to fall on its face.
I agree. I mean, there's definitely a it is just one of those things where, with there being pirates as a talent, Necromancer as a class, something that people have, I mean, every single set that has ever been released, the first thing I see is, oh, maybe we're getting Necromancer in this one. We don't know anything. And it's been like that for probably like 10 sets. It has just been consistent about, are we getting Necromancer? Is this going to happen? Is this ever going to happen? And now it's finally here.
Yep.
And you're going to see a lot of people
book checklist.
Do that.
It's gone.
Like, yep, exactly. They have come through and they have made a Necromancer
now for the alchemist. You know it's coming one of these days.
Yeah, right. Alchemist, like cleric. I mean, we're still looking at a lot of these things. Yeah. And so I would think that they are hopefully going to get allocation pretty high. I already know that several people are looking to pick up like case after case after case for this thing because of how popular it is. But more importantly, again, the reason why they're really upping the allocation here, at least specifically in this situation, isn't so much because they're just like, well, we want to make sure everybody's got product immediately. They do, because that's the concept, is you want people to have product to be able to sell and players to have the cards. But national championships are happening like nearly the week after the set is released. And when something like that happens and people want to play new heroes into the meta, whether it be somebody finding out that like the meta call is really good for Ranger after Marlin comes out. At that point, people need to get their hands on the cards. And so vendors need to get access to cards to be able to sell the singles. Players need to be able to buy sealed product to do so. They've also announced that they're doing things such as they're having LGSs be able to run 2 pre-release events. So instead of just being stuck specifically with one, they can do multiple pre-release events as well as now doing draft for pre-release events, which is really, really good because draft is something you need to know how to do for this national championship season.
Oh, 100%. I agree. Now, I also want to ask something else, which is a little bit different. But down on the main page where it talks about world premiere promos, let's talk about
Uh-huh.
Treasure Island because I think this also gives some hints that in this set in general, they wouldn't make a
Hmm.
macro because a macro in the limited format would sit for each of the heroes.
Hmm.
This macro, one, it looks beautiful, mind you. I really, really love this card. But it
Hmm.
says the first time a hero is attacked each turn, put a gold counter on this. Whenever you or an ally you control deals damage to an opposing hero, remove that many gold counters from this and create those gold tokens equal to remove this way. Because it says you or an ally, I have a feeling that we are also going to get allies in both the Mech class and the Ranger class. Do you feel that's a incorrect statement?
I mean, I kind of alluded a little bit to that when the cannon thing, because if you attacked with a cannon, then you get to do something with that king shark harpoon. I certainly wouldn't doubt that mechanologist of all classes is able to turn things like, a specialization that's for Puffin that says, turn every golden cog you have into a 2 power, 2 health little mechanoid. And you can do that whenever that's the case. I think that the concepts there, obviously they have to put an ally specifically because we know Necromancer utilizes it. So
Which,
I think
yeah,
it's
that would
just
be
like
a detriment to Necromancer if you didn't use the word ally.
exactly right. And I think that's really what it comes down to being like, if it was just heroes attacking each other, then that would be one thing. It wouldn't be able to utilize, like, it would
Sure.
almost make playing Necromancer worse because you're not able to get those gold tokens when you hit.
Yeah, it'd be
But
like a
in this
handy. It'd
specific
be like a
scenario,
handicap.
you
Yeah.
can. Yeah, exactly.
Now we also
So,
get a snatch promo, which is pretty sweet. This is kind of becoming a standard thing that we're starting to see, where you're getting
hmm.
these maybe alternate language, alternate photo versions of staple cards, and
Hmm.
it makes them beautiful, especially by leveraging the extended art frame. Like that's
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very pretty, very flavorful.
we got
It's new playing Mahjong. That's pretty cool.
we got a lot of high res photos here of the Sky Warden and some other stuff that people had kind of picked apart. So, looking at that Sky Warden, right, that looks like a steam powered something. It has galvanize, but look at
Hmm.
that. It's a 7 attack. I mean, that's pretty big.
I
That's
mean, y'all have maximum velocity.
I
That's
get it,
this
but
ain't this ain't really anything crazy. I'm not too big on Golden Sky Warden just because it costs 4 resources to attack for 7, and more importantly, its galvanize ability just simply states that you can destroy an item you control, and then if you do, this gets +1 if a golden cog is destroyed this way. You create a gold token, repeat this process, which just means that effectively, if you have a bunch of golden cogs out, this can block for 6, 7, theoretically, if you have enough out. Again, they only come in with 1 steam counter, so you need to find ways to put steam counters on golden cogs in order for that to really stick around, because you're not going to get you're probably not going to have 17 golden cogs unless there's a pay X to create, X equals the amount of golden cogs at the moment. But even still, you destroy a golden cog, you repeat the process, create a gold, so on and so forth. And more importantly, the fact that, hold on, where the hell is it? Gold is also an item.
yep.
So, you can
Well,
you can destroy all your golden cogs and then destroy gold,
what about gravekeeping?
and you get an additional +1 on top of it too. So, well, I mean, like the promo there. The promo
Yeah,
looks really
it
good.
looks
I like
really
it.
good, but it's also a
Yeah.
generic card, so that's useful because that gives a lot of other classes access to
Oh,
this.
for sure. I mean, we are moving into the world of grave hate with Necromancer caring a lot about their graveyard and the cards inside their graveyard. I promise you, Necromancer is going to be hard to do because I mean, there's gravekeeping, which automatically banishes a card from their grave. There's Passover in the Mistveil Heroes that allows you to banish a card from their grave. There's News Sacred Art that allows you to banish 2 cards from an opponent's graveyard. So I would assume either gravekeeping and other graveyard hate tech is what you are planning to see in a lot of heroes if it ends up being the case, or there is a card in Necromancer that allows you to essentially play Remembrance, where you can, you can bring back your Watery Grave allies from your banish zone back into your deck. But I don't know.
Now, something else interesting. I have a pack of Mistveil here. I was just looking at because I pulled it from behind me. These are 16 card packs, but I was looking at the product configuration. The expansion slot is back. It looks like, so
Yep.
that's a thing, and it says either 2 basic cards, basic plus expansion, basic plus legendary, basic plus. So it's there's nothing's changed in that then.
Nope. That's pretty much all the same. Effectively, you're going to get 2 tokens in the back, or you're going to get a token and an expansion slot card, or a token and a legendary card, or a token and a marvel. And that's just kind of how those are set up to be. And then that's pretty much the step. Same deal for limited is that you're going to remove those back 2 cards, and then you're able to add them to your card pool whenever you're doing limited, like sealed. And that will be the same deal there. Let me see, what else
So
do we have in
is the
regards
Fable
to
going to be a
that?
pirate card because that's going to be across the class? You think like a landmark?
Oh, it's going to be a pirate card for sure. I think it'll probably be like, some crazy token that says whenever you pitch this, create a gold token or something. Like,
So I was kind of
I don't
thinking
know.
of this too. I don't remember I either read it somewhere or kind of was thinking, but cards like Kraken, Aether Vein is underwater. But I have a Phidia with the sea monster references in here. I think somebody had mentioned that maybe the eye might have been part of a sea monster at one point, or maybe taken from a sea monster. I mean, that might. What's your thought on that? Is that?
I mean, I don't think we know anything about it. Do we know? Do we know anything about that? Legendary stories?
I was gonna say I
Because
poked around a little bit, but
let's see, Ophidia. Not much is written. Not much beyond what is written in the flavor text. So that's pretty much it. We don't have a lot.
man, the marvels for this set, I think people are going to go crazy for, comparatively speaking, to um, probably the Hunted, because the Hunted was, well, maybe not, because they were, if the marvels are going to be like the Necromancer add-ons, then maybe they'll be
The
similar.
Marvels are certainly going to be the
The draw.
the watery grave cards, like very much so, because there's 21 Marvels in this set. 21 Marvels. 46 Majestics, 6 legendary cards, and a Fable. I
love
think it
the key
is.
art. There's High Seas Necro and High Seas regular art. Did you see that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love. I think that's going to be very, very good. I think it's going to be just
pack
like.
configurations. I wonder if that means to get one of each type of pack, you'd need one from each booster box, because they might be all the same in each one. So I wonder.
Maybe. I'd imagine they'd probably eke them out a little bit. I know that. Let's see here. Guess what? Guess
Uh-oh.
what?
Well,
Japanese language product. Did you read the fun little blurb they have on the Japanese product?
well, it says that it's a smaller. It says 9 cards per pack, and it says Japanese language does not include crack bobble because it's not designed for limited play, which makes me sad.
Yep. You don't get a Japanese crack bobble from. Can't do it. Damn. That's a rough time for you crack bobble lovers. It ain't gonna be the case. But
just cry my tears of baubles, cry them.
yeah, it's literally the only card missing from the set too. That's hilarious. Like 264 cards compared to 265 in the US. Why is it good for limited? Well, I think it's just because there's less packs in or not less packs, less cards in a pack in the Japanese product, and so they just kind of like cut the chaff in that situation. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot here. Obviously, the Armory deck due to release on May 30th. The
I do want to ask a question.
actual set itself releases on the 6th.
I want to ask a question, and this is pertaining to specifically allocations in regards to these decks. It seems that there's a little bit of, at least locally, there was only 2 stores that got it. And listening to the store owners, I will not specifically say names, but listening to different store owners' discussions, it sounds like there's a real hard time of getting allocation for these. Like 1 or 2 of the stores did not get any Aurora decks. And I'm kind of concerned they're not going to get this Necromancer deck. Is that the same thing happening out by where you're at?
I know that we had a lot of people buy the Aurora deck. We had several of our stores nearby get it, and then also immediately sell out of it. But again, I think this is definitely one of those things where I am always hopeful that there's just like immediate waves coming out for this, and that allocation is just different from place to place. I don't believe that this product, that an Armory deck, is something that should be highly allocated or tightly allocated, I should say. Is that strictly because Supercell, nice.
Mechanologist. It was in my hand. I gotta open it. So
yeah, but yeah, I mean, effectively, the concept is that we had a lot. I don't know if there are still any on the shelves. I have not personally checked. I certainly can ask, but I know we had a lot of people get them, and a lot of people sold because we have a lot of people who play Runeblade out here. Yeah, so
we don't have a lot of people that play Runeblade out here that I'm aware of. Now, I got to play against a Vincent the other day at the Armory.
Nice.
That was exciting.
Did you win?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, it's been.
Did you win?
Did I win? No, I did not.
Come on. I did. I've been on a tear with Vincent recently. I'm pretty. I think I'm pretty comfortable with my list right now, and I think I'm just gonna see what happens. I'm very curious because every part of me, as much as I don't like the name of the hero, I really think that the concept of Gravy Bones is going to be very
popular.
Very, very popular. I think this is like what is nearly Dromai 2.0. But you don't have to run reds. You can run cards that pitch for resources. So obviously it's going to depend, right? If Gravy Bones weapon says that if you have a yellow and a blue card in your pitch zone, your allies can go again. Then it's going to be like a completely different hero. Right now, we have no way to determine whether or not these allies are going to be able to go again. But
so do you think the allies are going to be shuffled in the deck and you have to get them and then be able to play them? Because looking at Chum, it has a pitch, a play, everything. Yeah. So
it is something that there are cards that are going to be in your deck. They don't look like they're not going to be utilizing anything such as at least like we're unsure if there is a front side, right? Or if this is the only side Chum has. but effectively, because like with the dragons, there's an invocation side that you play, and then you have to make sure you have an ash, and then you get to transform. But in
I
this
mean, this isn't the
situation,
transform symbol. Like, we don't have a transform symbol, do we? Or maybe this could be it. Maybe
no,
Gravy
there's
Bones is
not
two
a.
sided.
Well, I mean, there's the transform on everything. I mean, the Sky Skimmer has transform cog, or Puffin has transform, or if that is like the transform symbol, then that would be the case. But I think it's just a way to implement that you can do this just once. But I don't know. I mean, as far
Maybe
as
you know what?
allies go,
Here's my thought. Maybe that symbol is put this card underneath something.
mm,
But if it says
I
once
don't
per
know.
turn instant, this is so okay. How would this work? Let's say Sky Skimmer is an attack. You have to, if you played it, I'm going to attack with Sky Skimmer, and then when I'm done attacking on the combat chain before it closes, once per turn instant, do something. A cog you control. This gets +1.
Yeah, you are interacting with a cog you control again. So you would not, if you were going to destroy a cog to utilize that ability, you would need to. It would more than likely say something along the lines of destroy a cog you control and put it underneath this card. Then you can activate said ability. Right. This is the cost, and so that symbol there is the cost to a cog you control, and that's effectively what you're looking for. I mean, like, I'm pretty confident that that is a tap symbol,
So
and not
why
anything
would they
else.
go super? I mean, I get that that's a thing, right? Each set kind of has its own interesting mechanic, but they've not really ever introduced tapping in the game prior. So why would that mean now? Like, I'm looking at again the sales data, not sales
I
data, sorry,
think
the sales
the
sheet.
reason,
And
yeah,
Rigor Mortis is a card down at the bottom where it says 9 different release promos.
yep,
Did you see that one?
yep, yeah, that's the other ally it's insane because that ally costs you one resource, it has one life, but
It's
it
a
comes in
6/1.
and attacks for 6.
But so that's like the
Crazy.
dragon. I mean, it's one of those like just rock'em
Yeah, but
sock'em.
this is cheaper. This is cheaper. It comes in for 6, and if you're playing that offhand that Gravy Bones uses, effectively, if you get that into you play Chart the High Seas, you pitch a blue card, you then get to put a yellow card, being rigor mortis, to your graveyard, and then you can utilize the compass because if you need to put a blue card into your grave, you can destroy gold, put a blue card in your grave, play rigor mortis, and then attack with it immediately for 6. Now it's a lot of like hoops to jump through, but
Now
it is.
they don't have legendary keywords, so I'm assuming you could have 3 Rigor Mortis in a
Yeah,
CC deck and
you would be able to have
bones.
3. Yeah.
So
Yep, which makes me think, which really is where I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is like near close to what Dromai players initially want and like about Dromai is the fact that you were able to have multiple copies of your dragons. You were able to summon them throughout the whole thing. In this situation, you can just find the best allies and then just make sure your deck is tuned enough to be able to, slam a yellow ally into the grave and then slam a blue card into your grave, play the ally, do the thing, and
so
make that happen. So
I know it got taken down, but because on the LDG events, I never closed the tab. I still have it pulled up over here. There's a really wicked piece of artwork where it shows this giant harpoon getting shot out from basically I'm assuming the ranger character. The ship is being destroyed, so this sea creature is sucking it down, but this giant harpoon is just doing some crazy stuff. And the other thing that's interesting is there were 2 pieces. So they had one where it talked about the products, and then there's like the mat, which is where you first seen the 3 cards. So the background for this map, I need to find somebody that's going to that event because I want that playmat very bad.
it is going to be a very, very mat. I'm certain of it. I know people who are trying to like sponsor
I'll sponsor somebody. I'll find a way
things.
to do that.
So
Yeah. I can't pay for your flight, but like I'll buy the package and get the stuff out of it.
yep, yeah, and effectively that's what you'd be doing is you just like purchase the package and then he goes or they purchase a package and then they pick it up in person and then you pay for the package, which is, I mean, fine, right? I think it's probably better to like wait until the set's out and that the because if you're just looking for the playmat, you can just playmat's probably going to be like $120 or something, which is going to cost you less than
I mean,
what
I
it would
like
be to
that,
sponsor
and I
them.
want one of the Treasure Island tokens. I think to me those would be the items I
Yeah.
would care about. But I don't think a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people are going to care about the macros after a month or two because other than reliving the thing or just collecting it because it looks cool, it it serves the purpose of the, you know, macro.
Yeah, it's a limited thing. At least from what I can tell, it's a limited thing. So, but I mean, there is a Marvel for it. So maybe there is, uh, maybe this is a landmark, our first like look at a common token landmark, effectively to get that going. But it is there's a lot here. There's a lot going on for it. New heroes,
So what have we not talked about? Like
new
what
cards, new mechanics.
have we? How
I
long?
don't even know.
I didn't start. I didn't start a top stopwatch, so I'm gonna go look at the timer real quick.
It's been about an hour and I fit 10
We're only an
minutes
hour in. How did we talk about all that in only an hour?
because I just kept yapping.
I love it, but like I'm just like, man, I kind of feel
Mm-hmm.
like there's more. Like I kind of want more too. Like
There's really not anything more. Uh High Seas due to come out. Where do we have the
so the world
uh
premieres in Taipei.
previews are happening in May. May 17th is when the premiere is occurring, or the previews are occurring. World premiere is in 23rd. Calling Taipei is on the 24th to 25th. Pre-release is May 30th through June 8th. May 30th is the same day that the Necromancer Armory deck is coming out. So the pre-release and the Necromancer deck get released at the same time. And then the release day
See, I see a problem with the
fully
Necromancer
is
deck,
June
meaning
6th
like I'm
or
gonna
the
want to buy two of them. The reason I want to buy two is I want to be able to go head versus head. I want to have Necromancer versus Necromancer. So I don't know how many people are going to want to do that, but like I definitely want to buy two of them. I'd absolutely
I
buy.
mean, there's probably not a lot of people who are buying two specifically because they want to play them against each other. There are probably a lot more people who want to buy two or three so they can foil out the specific cards that come with the the deck, because usually there's one copy of the new cards outside of the equipment that gets a rainbow foil treatment and the other two copies are non-foil. And so if people want to have rainbow foil copies of these cards to bling out a Necromancer deck, that's probably the time you see that. But I would just be happy to get one. Lo and behold, obviously, I'd be happy to. I'm going to try and hit a bunch of these pre-releases whenever they're happening.
Well, if you got
I
Aurora decks
am
out there, I'll trade you. I'll buy the Necromancer here and ship you one and ship me an Aurora because I still don't have
brother.
one.
I will do that for you because I don't think. I think that we still have some. I don't know where though, because we have a lot of LGSs in our general area. Not to mention that we have some down Colorado Springs and even more up north. So really, there's just like it's all about whether or not I just ask around to see who has any. But yeah,
I'm
I mean,
sure
like,
if I were to go ask around at some of the up north stores, which are 45 minutes to an hour plus drive for me now, I'm
mhm.
sure maybe one of them has something for that still. But I'm also kind of still like, yeah, maybe I just wait. But I also want to buy it local. I don't want to necessarily go to TCG Player and buy it. But
No, I mean, I mean, well, what are they selling on TCG Player right now? $85 or something.
I have no idea. TC, dude, the card price stuff. Like, I want to talk. That's another. I stayed after and talked to somebody for 25, 30 minutes about the popcorn card prices recently,
Hmm.
and it's getting ridiculous. like a 50-cent card going to 17, $18. Like, I get that there's speculation. I'm not mad at that, but like, I just don't know how that works long term. I just don't. I saw
Well, I mean,
somebody
you
bought
also have
like
to remember a lot of what we see with Flesh and Blood, right? Obviously, this can escalate our conversation to be another 3 hours, which I do not have, unfortunately. But the concept being is that so much of Flesh and Blood is based around the hype.
Mhm.
When a set gets even the slightliest bit thematically spoiled, cards shoot up to an amount that is ungodly because nobody knows. People do not speculate on this stuff initially. They wait until a set is spoiled. And the second a set is spoiled, then people start buying, which is not good. You should proactively be purchasing cards that you do not own in play sets. So that way, when this does happen, you have the ability to just go, okay, cool. I bought it for $13 back when it was cheap. Now it's up to $75 and I don't have to worry about purchasing another copy. If anything, you can sell that copy if you know that it's not going to work very well in the deck and you can just do something else with it. But
I
it
missed my
is,
Call
I
to the
mean, it's a lot.
Graves. I didn't
So
buy my stupid Call to the Graves. I bought some other stuff, and
we don't even
shame on
the
me.
card certainly seems like it's going to work with Necromancer. Is it going to stay at its price that it is right now? Probably not. It's probably not like the card that's going to make Necromancer good. And simply because one blocks two, it gets you a card into your grave, which is sick. But it's also not like there's a lot. We don't know anything about the direct mechanics of other allies that exist. Better combos can exist to get cards into your grave that is not just Call to the Grave. So, it certainly seems like it's going to be seeing play. But if you don't have them, you don't have them. It's not the end of the world. And if anything, if you've wanted them and they end up being really good in the deck and you're utilizing them a lot, then you're either going to have to buy them at the price they are now, or you're going to have to make sure that you're proactively purchasing cards that are that you don't have playsets for that are cheaper, so that way you can go ahead and make sure you're prepared, unlike you were with Call to the Grave, right? So
Yep. I mean, it is interesting to see where the prices on these will land long term. I think that is still something that, I mean, I think Poketin King just released a video where he was talking about is Flesh and Blood too expensive? And you know, if you're like me, or maybe you or most other people that are casually at least or hardcore into the game and have a lot of the stuff that you've had for a long time, when a new set comes out, there's not a lot you have to buy. It really it's not as bad if you keep up with the game. It rewards you for staying in long term.
mm-hmm.
But if you're just coming in, it is pretty rough to like get the random stuff. I think that's just.
Oh, I mean, for sure. I mean, that is it is one of those things where if you are an enfranchised player and you're already like super deep into your own collection, it makes getting into every new deck that you want to try incredibly easy. But if you're a brand new player who has literally nothing and the only thing they have is some of the cards that come out in an Armory deck that are at least somewhat powerful comparatively, like it's about how much you're willing to truly put into it, right? Most people who will come into a TCG like Flesh and Blood also sometimes are playing things like Modern or Legacy in Magic the Gathering, and those are also like upwards of $600, $700, $800 decks plus for you to be able to play in those formats. And so that's just kind of where like I view a lot of this is, obviously you have to know when the window is. If you are purchasing cards, don't purchase them in the midst of spoiler season. Because if you do so and you did not get them for a cheap price and you're just buying them now, you might not even lose money, but you're certainly not buying them at an affordable price. Then when the set actually drops and nobody knows what any of these heroes do for several weeks, the cards are going to be nearly inexpensive outside of like the Marvels. So you just pick up everything super cheap when nobody knows the value of the card, even if it's like expansion slot cards for heroes that are not heroes that you're looking to play. If there's a Brute card that comes out and you're going to be like, oh, well, nobody's going to play Brute because everybody's going to be playing Necromancer. So, like, this is going to be a 90-cent card. Pick up 3 copies because the second we go to Savage Lands and there's a thing there where 3 new Brutes get announced and we have this whole thing that occurs. You're if you want to play Brute or you want to at least like make a quick buck on some cards that were left to the wayside, that's an opportunity for you to do that. So you just got to know the market. You got to know what you're doing with the market. But if you're a new player and you're like, yeah, you know, I don't know that I want to spend $100 on a tunic or $150 on a tunic, then don't. You know, if you want to truly like get into the game and you enjoy it and you grow with it, then getting a tunic for $150, that's still a pretty decent price. If they reprint it if they reprint it again and it goes back under, then it's like whatever. You already own one.
So I'm gonna do a shout out to somebody who's sending me some IMs right now while we're actually doing this. He's sharing some cool, like the same stuff we're talking about. So Ben, thank you. He was sending me some links to some of the documents in case I hadn't seen stuff because he's actually the one that tipped me off to when that first website kind of went out. Then they shared it on the main the Flesh and Blood spoiler piece. So
right.
It's neat. I do think the 3-box art thing, I should go. That's what he sent me. I think that is going to be very awesome for somebody who likes to display stuff. I mean, I do really hope that we get, and again, we don't see this, but I was growing attached to these things. I hope we get more of them, but we don't currently see that. So
yeah, I think this is a set that is going to skip the Blitz decks, which is fine because let's be honest, I don't imagine they sell very
well.
No. And at that point, if you know that if you're able to save quite a lot in production to just skip a product and not have somebody have something that's going to sit on the shelves, like I literally like the only thing that's good about Blitz decks being made is I get to do things like this, where I effectively take my bulk, I go onto the deck list for the Blitz decks that exist, and I just take the bulk, I copy the list, I make little packs from my bulk, and then I just give these out to stores, or I give them out to players, and then that way they have something to play. Ooh, lost that one. They have something to play, and they don't have to pay any money for it. I mean, there's bulk. The decks are normally bulk. The only reason you purchase a Blitz deck these days is because you want a rainbow foil hero or you want extended art copies of certain cards, but you only ever get 2 copies because it's Blitz and not 3 copies. So if you want to play those cards in CC, you need to buy another Blitz deck, which is just not effective because then you have a whole bunch of extra cards on top of it. It's a lot. So
yeah, it's gonna be. I mean, it is interesting to see kind of. Face it, a lot of people have asked for some of these things for a long time, and it's exciting to see that some of these things have come to fruition. Right? It's neat to see that we are here. I mean, it's what, set 15, right?
16.
16.
Well, this will be 16.
With or without history pack? There's some gray area with history pack, but like, is this officially set?
This is set 16.
Okay.
High Seas is set 16.
I think that we are set up for this game to have probably one of its most successful years ever, coming just from a standpoint of like.
And last year was pretty successful, so I think it is going to be.
Can you
obviously
can you
it's going to get
if we get a UPF product later this year, like that would just blow my mind. I would
they're gonna cancel UPF. Is what they're gonna
I
do.
hope not. Oh my
They're
gosh.
gonna cancel UPF.
No.
They're gonna. I don't. I listen. I know people out there really like UPF, and it's a fun little thing, and people enjoy it. I'm all for it, but like I know that there are just like you can tell where LSS's head is at in regards to like every format, and like Blitz, they're kind of just like, all right, cool, like fuck around, find out. Commoner, they're just like, all right, yeah, I guess like you guys don't want these heroes to be in the meta anymore because they've been that way for a while. So like, how about we just ban their weapons and say whatever? And then like obviously UPF, like nothing gets touched in UPF because it's just like a fun little party thing. But I mean, we're also getting Smash Palace this year, so we still don't know what the hell that's all
By the way,
about.
do you know if you'll be able to possibly make Gen Con? Have you figured that out?
I actually don't know, simply because I am going to Nats. I am going to Nationals. So I will certainly see what PTO and things are looking like at that moment. But Gen Con's in August,
Yes,
right?
it should be right in the first week of August, if I remember.
So then, yeah, I mean, quite possibly, I can see. It depends on what we're looking at for costs.
What if, and this was a suggestion again by Ben here, I'm just gonna say it because it's really neat. What if the treasure packs are like in Magic the Gathering? Do you remember the Kaladesh set where they had the inventions? What if they're like staple iconic cards, like Warmonger's E-Strike, Sink Below, Fate Foreseen, but in like a crazy exotic treatment?
I mean, that would be really cool, except like there's only one of each 17, right? So theoretically that wouldn't, I would imagine they're probably like heroes, if anything. But I don't know. Let me see again. I'm gonna take a look at this product sheet stuff for this and see what I can find. Where the hell is it? There it is. There you are. Product sheet. Let me just look over here. Yeah, treasure packs found in each display of High Seas. Discover breathtaking marvels, pirate booty, and lost treasures. So yeah, lost treasures. I would say lost treasures are probably more akin to the way they did it with Zendikar.
Okay.
They actually in Zendikar they did that where they had older cards.
So you're thinking like a cold foil heart, maybe, or a cold foil Eye of Ophidia, or
well, it certainly shouldn't be a cold foil against the reprint, but
who's to say they reprinted it? What if they just took it out of a pack and they stuck it in there? I mean, they put old dual lands in.
That is true. I guess they theoretically could. It could be TR foil heart from Alpha that's just like chilling in there. I don't know. 17's a weird number. Obviously, the interesting part, right, is that we're at set 16, and there are 17 cards. So having it be a iconic card from each set doesn't sound like a terrible idea. As far as it being like a funny,
unless it's a one-of-one Fable reprint from each set that's gold or something,
right? Like some other thing, right? Some very very special version. Because there's 17 unique lost treasures, only one of each exist in treasure packs. So there's only ever one. There's only ever one Fabled in any set. There's 16 sets out right now. If you're not counting, but there's not really like a Fabled in history pack or anything. So there could just be like a 17th, like a hero or something that didn't get a Marvel version of themselves or some version of this or whatever. Because it could also be like a hero that was released in each of these sets, however it might be. But I think it's just like, I mean, it's going to be nice being able to get like that one special pack. And it also, again, is just more incentive to have it where like this is incentive for people to open boxes, because most people don't open a ton of boxes, even though obviously Hunted is impossible to find right now. most people don't open a ton of boxes, but like this seems like something in regards to where, you get a gold slot, a map slot, and a treasure slot. The treasure slot contains a cold foil or a lost treasure.
Where did
So
this image come from? I'm gonna send you an image that somebody just shared on Twitter that has
okay.
like a very it says gravy bones, but it's not an image I have seen in any of the documentation. So wherever this came from, which is freaking awesome. Like I want that as a wall scroll. But where is
What
that?
the
Where
shit
is
is
that
that?
photo?
Maybe the young? That's probably young. There actually, I'm curious if that
Where would that be?
is maybe in the hero section.
I looked in the hero section. I also was. It says learn more coming
So
soon.
that was something they also did was learn more coming soon.
Marketing assets, maybe.
Something
I
that at least tends to happen. That does sound like correct. Like it would be under marketing because that's where you find all of the
there it is.
hero
It's at the bottom of
stuff.
hero
Yeah.
art.
Oh, I see them all. Yeah, yeah.
So the young hero. Those are oh my gosh. These are
Marlin
awesome.
and Puffin too.
Those are awesome.
Oh, look at little baby Puffin.
Look at
I know
baby. Yeah, I
Puffin's
was
the
gonna say
bird.
baby Puffin is kind of. I don't I don't know. Is that gonna be more like
That's fun.
that's like I have dreams and aspirations kind of a
That's
thing?
fun.
Now, do you
But
think
Gravy Bones looks crazy.
do you think that they're in metrics, or where do you think that where do you think this is all at?
Well, I'd imagine it'd be somewhere in the high seas.
But where is that on the map? Have we been able to figure that out?
Oh my god. I need to get freaking marketing assets for that.
Because I know that the truce talking back to that truce thing, I thought maybe in the upper map area that might be something. But then you have the high seas map, right? That is technically on that card you shared earlier. It's
Yeah.
the
I mean, the maps of Wraith, I'd imagine this takes place probably right. I don't know. It almost looks like it could take place right below.
Because chart the high seas, right? That is basically that
Oh,
map.
Mysteria on the chart the high seas is that map, or is it? It's a different map. It's a map of some sort. But more specifically, I can't make out anything on the action. This is the high chart the high seas. That's the same map that playmat is on. But let me see here.
Now, I don't necessarily want to dive too deep into the thing that still technically hasn't come out because I do think that was a leak or a misplace. But the thing that got kind of passed around about a month ago, what do you think the over-under on that being true is at this point?
I've already forgotten what that is. So
it had to do with some unique mechanics for this set, and it kind of talked about theoretically some, other component. I'm trying to not like directly relate to it.
I got no idea. I would imagine if it was not at this point, my concept is I will take everything I see with the unless it is specifically shown through an LSS article. Just because I am one to often not believe everything I see on the internet because that's just the amount of times I've fallen for fake ban and restricted articles is hilarious, and like those are fun silly things to like joke about and make because it's just like, oh wow, they unbanned Dustblade, that's crazy. But in this situation, especially when it comes to like set, I'm not normally one to be like, oh yeah, no, absolutely, I trust X source with my life. The only source I will ever actually like truly start making content on once I start seeing it is if it comes out of LSS.
Now,
So
with the set size 265 with the 6 legendaries, are we thinking there's going to be probably one per, like, are they going to be a talent and class combined, do you think, like a pirate necromancer or a pirate, like something that restrictive, or do you think we're going to get another generic in this of some capacity, or do you think that they're going to focus on
we'll get generics for
stuff
sure.
within this?
I think it'll be pirate card, or no. The first 3 cards are going, or first 6 cards are going to be Necromancer, Ranger, Mech, Necromancer, Ranger, Mech, pirate card, equipment piece, and then your 2 rares and whatever the hell else in the rest of the set.
What is basic?
Well, I guess it would probably be
way?
like 3, right? It'd probably be that. Basic?
Is
That's
basic
like
their token?
Yeah, it's just like a card in the set, like just your basic card.
Why would they name it basic versus token? I mean, that token used to be a rarity. Now, if it's not a rarity, what is basic? Is that something unique to this set, possibly?
I don't think so. I would have to look up everything from the previous sets.
I don't think they said basic. I think they said token.
But let me see. Game, retailer, news. Let's look up the hunted. Card data sheets, hunted. Hang on. Yeah. Okay, there's apparently nothing really in there. Okay. Hunted.
Do you want the product configuration? See, they say here 130 common, 16 token, 17 marbles. It's on the HNT hunted article. I can send you it. I'm on it.
Okay.
But that's just a difference I've noticed is they went from token to basic. So maybe they just don't want the connotation that they're throwaway cards.
I mean, I think like it could be that the basic card could also mean like, I don't really know. I guess it could be a new even the rarity symbol they're using.
Treasure, it says it is a token, but the symbol in the bottom looks like the letter B when I zoom in on it on the card article. Here, I'll send you this too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, here, I'm looking at it right now.
Compass of Sunken Depths on the Flesh and Blood beta site. It says C.
Yeah, it does say B for basic.
C45 token, but then on the bottom left-hand side it says B.
Yeah, it does say B. So maybe that's just what they're doing is they're calling tokens basics now.
Which is fine. It's just that's a little minor interesting thing from a collectability standpoint. That's unique.
I think it's just because like I mean you'd consider things like technically you have a lot more things that are like tokens that get created and things that are like considered tokens. For instance, like a hero is a token, but then like Graphene Chelicera is also a token, but it's a token you make and then are able to utilize. And so I'm not sure if there's like a new way they're reporting tokens, but I mean, regardless, it seems to be the exact same concept, just the name is different.
Yep. Well, I'm stupid excited. How about you?
I'm pretty freaking stoked, actually. I think this is. I'm still. Obviously, this is going to be probably one of the most market-shaking sets in Flesh and Blood history because the amount of people who have been wanting to play Necromancer, people who have taken breaks from the game because they want to wait until Necromancer happens, people who have the love that they want for like a minion-esque deck, and especially something that's like very, very lore-heavy. It is, there it is.
The only one left is Alchemist. Technically, Bard already exists in Cleric. So we've got Necromancer.
Alchemist and Cleric. Yep. And it's only a matter of time. I think that the set's going to do really, really well. Obviously, if allocation is not tight, this is obviously going to be something that is going to be. Uh, it's still, I think, going to be. You think even if they doubled allocation for this set than they did with the Hunted, I still think it's going to sell out. And that's just because one, we have Nationals is happening. Nationals is going to people are going to want to play a new hero in Nationals sometimes, simply because of the fact that we see what happened with Syndra, where Syndra came out immediately topped like a big calling, and that was just because people didn't know how to play against them. If you take like a long time from pre-release up until Nationals to really just dive into finding out what Necromancer is like and hoping for the best there. There are ways you could spike an entire tournament. But I think overall the set is going to do really well. Obviously, Necromancer has been a very, very beloved class since the lore book came out, and people have been wanting it for a while. I think that the legendary market is just like blowing up like nobody's business. Ranger cards are spiking. Mechanologist cards are spiking.
Heist went insane. That was kind of interesting.
Yeah, Ice was crazy. You have, cards that interact with the graveyard are insane. Any blue Majestic generic card is being completely skyrocketed in price. People are buying out cash outs and like all of these other
really?
Yeah, it's like all these other, there's like cards that don't make sense, but because they're blue generics and we're assuming that Gravy Bones is not going to have a very big like pool because it's a brand new class, a lot of these like Truce is going up in price. It's just a lot of cards that are blue, that are generic, that are Majestic, are going up in price significantly, and that is really just kind of like
still only 25 cents. So I guess pick them up while you can. I guess.
Yeah, I don't think there are a lot of these cards that actually matter, but like I said, when it happened, like when stupid stuff like this happens, you're expected to see a lot of cards be going up in price due to hype. Obviously, we have, what is this? It's March. Mm-hmm. We have like 2 months until spoiler season,
and then after that we have Gen Con, which is we don't really know, like, kind of back to the timeline, right? We only really know up until right around Gen Con where Smash Palace comes out. And then at Gen Con, I imagine they're going to have a big reveal that's going to give the next 6 months. It's going to be like mind-blowing, right? Like that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to continue this hype train, I think. And right now they're doing excellent. Like,
yeah, I think there's a lot going to be happening. I don't know that Gen Con, just because outside of Smash Palace, because I know that the Mastery Pack also comes out right around that time. So that is going to be kind of their big release. I would imagine probably Pro Tour Singapore is when we're expected to see more information in regards to like maybe the next set, or Nationals. Nationals is probably a pretty good time to also do that, even though the new set will have just been released. So I don't know that they'll spoil anything for new things. If anything, they'll probably start spoiling stuff for Mastery Pack, and not like the next set. But yeah, I think it's overall the set's gonna be. Obviously, if you like Pirates, this is your set. The limited format looks like it's going to be a wild thing. The edge tax is going to be huge on this. There are going to be so many edge lords and edge ladies coming in here and just being like, I'll spend all my money on Marvel undead pirates all day, and that's just what they're going to do. So this is hype. This is going to be hype, and I am very excited to be able to be saying that I'm going to be going to Nationals to hang out with everybody and experience this set with the community.
Where is that going to be at?
That is at the Westgate in Las Vegas.
Mm.
So it is nice. We have an Airbnb set up. We do have spaces in our Airbnb if you happen to want to go, but it is It's going to be a good time. We're close enough to the venue to where I'm happy about it, and it's just going to be a good time. I'm very excited. So Nats is going to be big hype thing. Obviously, High Seas is going to be a big hype thing. A lot of side events. A lot of it's just hype. There's a lot of hype. Flesh and Blood just continues to like raise that bar, and I'm here for it.
I think with that, we can't end on a much more positive note than that. So, yeah, I'm going to say that's it for today's show, folks. And what do you like? What are you excited for? I mean, it's just so darn good.
It's all good. It's all good. I mean, seriously, it is. It is something that I think we're going to be riding this high for a long. I'm just hopeful that the players are able to get their cards that they want, and that it's we continue to see new things. We don't even know, there could be a reprints of staple cards in the set as well in expansion slots. We don't know anything about the expansion slots for here either, so it's a lot of things that can still happen, a lot of reasons to still be hyped for it, even though we only know the classes and talents. But it's going to be a good time.
Well, until next time, may games be fun, your friendship grow. Cheers, Alex. Thanks.
Yeah,
we got lots of deck teching to do. I can't wait to start playing with this, especially the mech
so
stuff.
Nuts.
The Necro stuff. I mean, that's going to be cool.
So excited.
All right. Bye.
Bye, everybody.